Hey, everybody that's watching. We are here with the outstanding leadership coach, Jennifer Maynard. She is truly wonderful, and I can speak from experience because not only does she help our clients, she helps me be a better leader. So I wanted to throw a couple questions at her to help you get to know her better and hopefully lead to some questions that you want to ask her yourself. So here's my top biggest question for you, Jennifer, is why do you care about other people becoming better leaders?
Oh, I love this question. So the good news is I haven't really thought about it that much. So it's going to be on the fly here and I'm just going to wing it, John. You know how I like to do that. But I just in general am really passionate about leadership for a couple reasons. One of the big ones being that many years ago, someone helped and nurtured me along the way and really allowed me to lean into my own full potential. So I had some really great mentors and coaches that allowed me to upgrade my leadership. And I became a manager very early on. And with that came this great opportunity to learn to be a coach. With that led to a new opportunity to develop top talent in rotation programs and do some really cool things. And I just loved that ability to stop and take a look back and recognize that, wow, someone helped me on this journey and got me to this whole new level that I never really imagined. It's not like I had this 20-year plan that said, do this, then this, then this, then this. And if I had, I blew it out of the water anyways, because I did all those things in like 5 to 7 years. So someone was there for me. And I just always thought that was the most exciting thing ever because it allowed me to then stop and say, now, how can I do this for other people? So with that in general, I personally I'm a helper. I love to help people, and coaching is the way that I lean into that personality trait for myself. I love to ask deep questions, be genuinely curious of folks, figure out what it is that they want to do, and assist them in getting there. And I often find with leadership, people will just say, I want to be a better leader. But it's like, well, what does that even mean? Like, I don't know what that means. Do you know what that means? So that ability to really kind of dig in and get clear with someone on what that means and figure out how we can take them and upgrade them to a level that maybe they don't even know exists for them is just really exciting. And I've seen it with so many people that it's fun to continue to do the journey repeatedly, knowing that everyone has a really unique and different experience.
I love that. And looking back on my own journey as a leader, I can tell you what kind of mistakes I'd love to avoid. The first time I had a major leadership opportunity, it was a disaster. I ended up having to lay off an entire team. 10 people ended up losing their jobs because of me. I closed the doors to a branch of a company that I'd been trusted with. It was awful. And I'd been thrown into that with no training, no support. Do you feel like that's most leaders? Do you feel like most leaders get thrust into that position with not enough training and support?
Yeah, I love that question. So I would say yes and no. And the reason I say that is because I find that they are often given more of the tactical training. Here's how you sign off time. Here's what you do if there's an employee issue. Here's when you go to HR. So they're given enough of that like management one-on-one tactical stuff that they can survive, right? They can tread water and kind of keep their head up. It might not look great all the time, but it's just enough to get by. But they're not really given strong leadership training. And even when they are, it might be called leadership, but it's often still management, just disguised, where it's more of that tactical. So this strategic component is the piece that's really missing. And that's kind of what makes the process of coaching unique is we could pull a bunch of people together in a room and we can talk about effective feedback and how to provide effective feedback and be really valuable there and kind of really craft something that makes sense for everyone on an individual basis. But on that one-on-one level, we can get really strategic and we can know, John, here are the things that you really want to focus on and where you really need to focus on, where we need to kind of leverage your existing strengths and skills and make you a lot better. We can talk about how for you, feedback might look different and how you provide it effectively for your staff than it does for Sally over here. And that might be because of the way your team is, the culture of your team, the specific individuals that you've hired. I have to be a little softer with this person. I have to be a little firmer with this person, whatever it might be. So having that ability to get the training that allows you to see not just the tactical piece, but the strategic piece is really key. And then even growing it better through that one-on-one is a great opportunity as well.
Wow, I love it. I have a question that I've been asked, and I don't always have a great answer, and I feel like you probably will, so I know this is on a lot of people's minds. What are your thoughts on being a leader when you're not the leader? So you've got people that are dependent on you, they're under you, but maybe you're not the CEO. Maybe you have to kind of lead in both directions or follow in both directions. How do you help people cope with that situation that so many people are in?
Yeah. So there's two pieces to this that I want to touch on. One is related to the way you just worded the question, and the other is almost the opposite. So what I often find when I work with people who will use the example of like program manager or project manager, you're kind of the leader of a big thing, a big project, an opportunity, and you're probably having to provide guidance and need input from a lot of people all around you, but none of them report to you. So you can't exactly hold them accountable the way you would if it was a direct employee. This is a huge challenge, and this is a ton of the leadership I see across the board. These people who are in these sort of project manager roles, program manager roles, they need something from everyone, but no one actually has to do exactly what they say. So it kind of goes both folds. It goes with the one that you said, which is like, it's kind of great. People are looking up to you. They need your guidance. But then on the other hand, it's great. No one wants to look up to you. No one wants your guidance because they don't have to, right? So there's sort of challenges from both of that. So my point with that being, you can still take advantage of leadership growth and opportunity without having that manager title. And I just think there's both multiple paths and ways that it shows up. But really kind of leaning into the strengths of everyone around you. So if you have a group of people who really are looking to your guidance and looking to your leadership, you know, what is it that they need from you? Have you asked them specifically? Have you talked to them? What opportunities for growth and improvement do they have? And what are their strengths? And how, as a sort of team member or leader, can you pull all that together? Because I have strengths, but I'm also have some blind spots or some gaps. And John, you helped me fill those as a teammate. So together, if we were individually, you know, maybe there's big gaps, but as a group, when we come together, we can start to see that this puzzle aligns and there's opportunity for all of us to support and grow. So how can you kind of pull those people together and utilize them better in a way that maybe other people just haven't taken the time to do? So that kind of touches on that component. The other one being where there's often that chance to be that leader, but they're not the people who want to follow you, or sorry, you're not the boss or something along those lines. This is a great example of when we really need to allow our leadership just to shine from that sort of personal connection standpoint. We need to have great communication skills, and we need to really build trust with all of those around us so that it's very easy for us to go and say, hey, John, I know you don't report to me, but I really need this tomorrow. Can you make this happen for me? Yeah, Jen, no problem. I got this for you. So building that trust within there as well. So definitely different approaches from both ends, but really the point being relationships, right? Building trust, pulling everyone together, asking those deep and powerful questions. How can I support you on this project that you're working on? What roadblock or barrier can I remove for you? You know, just really asking them something where it's not just you telling, it's not just you saying, I am a leader, follow me. It's you being collaborative and working together with them and sort of empowering the whole team to rise together and move together at the same time.
I love it. Outstanding. I have one more question for you that I know a lot of our viewers are going to have, which is, do I already have to be a leader in a leadership position to work with you, or would you be someone good to work with if I'm trying to become a leader, move in that direction, or do I already need some experience under my belt before you and I can work together?
Oh, that's a great question. So I think it's quite obvious the answer. We know, of course, you don't have to be a leader, have that experience so far. It's actually kind of the one thing that I think is really fun about the tools we have here at Alma La Vida is that within our Elevate program, we're going to do some of those e-coaching modules. You can learn from nothing, right? You can start with no information and you can go in and kind of see, here's what it would feel like. Here's how I could show up. Here's how I could act and behave. I'm also a very firm believer that we are all leaders. So as a mom, I'm a leader. As a dad, you're a leader. We don't actually have to have a group of people under us. I can think of a lot of people who were, frankly, 1 or 2 years out of college that were on teams I've worked in the past who just exuded leadership presence. You know, they were the youngest people on the team, the least experienced, and people still wanted to follow them because they were confident and they just showed up in a way where it was very clear they had something to bring and they wanted to bring others along with them. So anyone can be a leader. Therefore, anyone can work with a leadership coach to figure out how they can upgrade their leadership to that next level. Really figure out what the gaps are, Where are your strengths? How can you leverage them more? And then where are those blind spots or those weaknesses? And who do you need to pull into your fold in order to make sure you're all kind of growing together at the same time? So anyone can truly benefit from leadership coaching.
I love it. And that actually gave me one more question. So this will be the last question we'll round out this with. How do I know, as an individual, if I want to become a leader? What advice would you give to somebody that maybe isn't sure, they don't even know what questions to ask? What should they be doing from a self-reflection standpoint to help determine if leadership is a path they want to follow and if they do have that spark?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's funny you asked this because just today I posted something on LinkedIn kind of saying, why are you in a leadership role? So I think that reflection in general is really good. So even asking yourself why you think you would want it, ask yourself that kind of why question. What is it about leadership that's enticing to you? And get a little bit to the root of that so that you then sort of know which way to let your path go out. But I think it's a lot of networking. It's a lot of mentorship. It's a lot of talking to others who've been there. You're going to get a lot of advice from people, and maybe it's not something you want to follow, but it is interesting. And part of my journey was definitely learning from others and what they did. Were they just handed the job and they took it because? Were they the technical expert and they were promoted because there was no one else to give the job to? Like, what was the reason that they went into leadership or management, and what had them staying there or what had them leaving there? I was a great example myself. I went into management at the time. I just thought, I want to grow. I want to get to this higher level. And that's just what it was all about for me. And then once I was there, I realized I have this extreme passion for the people side, and I don't want to be a director and working this many hours that was required at that company that I was at. So it was easy for me to then just say, what did I learn from this experience, and where do I want my leadership to take me from here? And for me, it was outside of management, and it was in a subject matter expert role where I could hire and bring new folks in. But until you start talking to others and learning about others' experiences and why they are where they are and what brought them there, you might have a gap until you kind of figure some of that out. So ask others, do some of that networking and mentoring, do that deep reflection for yourself. We say, what does success mean to you? Success is something different to everyone. What does being a leader mean to you? Being a leader is something different for everyone. So what does it actually mean to you to be a leader, and what ways would you want to show up? And then kind of a third component to that is, are there ways you can be a leader now outside of work career? Like, don't even think about the manager thing, but is there something you can do within your community? Can you step up more within your family, perhaps in your friend group? Maybe you're in a Facebook group where people have been talking about doing something. Maybe you're the first person to say, hey, I'll just step up and I'll be the one to do it. What way can you kind of step up, take charge, take control, and then learn something from that experience to see if it's something you enjoyed and would want to do more of in the future?
I absolutely love, and of course, that last component too is call you. So everybody, that's it. Everybody, I think, should be picking up that phone or clicking on that link and booking some time with Coach Jennifer. Like she said, everybody has that spark of leadership in them. Anybody can be a leader. Anybody can take that journey. So if that's where you want to be, if that's where you think you're headed, or if you've already started down that path and maybe feel like you're a little stuck, or any even 100 other reasons, Coach Jennifer is absolutely who you want to talk to. And thank you again for always showing up for me and doing exactly what you practice, exactly what you preach for me and the rest of the Amalvita team, and we so appreciate it.
Well, thank you, John. I appreciate it. I am really looking forward to talking to everyone who's new to this world, who maybe hasn't talked to me yet in the past. I know, to your point, yeah, give me a call, but really shoot me a message, shoot me an email, anything. I'm here to just get the questions moving in your head for you. Sometimes it just takes me, and I know John can speak to this, but it just takes me one or two powerful questions to ask someone to even just get them thinking about what it is that they need to be thinking about. Because sometimes we don't know. So I say, people say, I want to be a better leader, but you don't know what you don't know, what you don't know, what you don't know. So let myself ask a couple questions of you and get you thinking about, is this really what I need to be focused on? Or do I need to be focused on something else? Because there's no right or wrong answer. But until we dive in, you're just not going to know. So look forward to working with everyone in that leadership capacity.